56. 6 3/4.
So here it is. Super excited about this event. I think I'm saying it right. The Chowan River, according to the locals, that's how you pronounce it. The Chowan River in North Carolina. It's really exciting doing this now for almost 30 years to go somewhere new, somewhere that we've never been. It's a river. It's a tidal river. The tide isn't going to play that big of a role, but it's a river. And I'm super excited about that because that typically means shallow water fishing. The forward facing jighead minnow probably isn't going to be as big of a player. I think we kind of know forward facing sonar is here to stay, and you know, some of these guys can fish it in super shallow water. So it's always going to be a factor, but it's not going to be chasing fish around out in the middle of the lake somewhere. So the Chowan River, it's a long ways from Kansas City, I can tell you that much. It's on the east coast, eastern side of North Carolina, so it's like an 18-hour drive here. So made the most sense for us to go straight up after Santee Cooper, just because it was a few hours up the road, and go to the Chowan River. So I'm down there running around, you know, getting a good feel for the river. And obviously you want to catch a little bit and just kind of get a feel for what kind of fish are in there. And got in and caught some small ones on a bladed jig, and actually felt the urge to tie on a spinnerbait, and tied on a little spinnerbait. And it was crazy. I was way back in this little pocket. And typically when you get to the back of a pocket like that, you don't catch a lot of big fish per se. You know, you might get a bite here or there, but I'm just kind of covering water, throwing the spinnerbait just because it doesn't hang up as bad as the bladed jig. And I throw this thing way back as far as I could in this pocket because I couldn't get back there any farther, make a couple turns of the handle, and this fish just annihilates it. And I honestly thought it was a striper or something the way it first bit. And I'm fighting it and get up beside the boat. And I mean, it's the biggest bass I've caught all year. It ended up weighing it. It was, I think, 6.5 pounds. So.
Holy cow. Look at that. Choked it. .50 pounds.
That was really exciting to catch that fish just because it was such a neat fish. Went on to catch a few more on a spinnerbait, and then the bladed jig, kind of the same deal. I noticed a lot of these fish, there was a lot of big shad in these backwaters and stuff, and obviously they were feeding on the shad. I caught some fish that had shad sticking out their throats, but the other one, you know, it's just kind of cloudy, rainy type of day, and just slow rolling I think a 1/2 ounce bladed jig along there, and another one about takes the rod out of my hand, and another 6.5 pounder. So
Look at that. Holy cow. Look at that beauty. 56. 6 3/4.
Like I said, when we were there, it was more of a pre-spawn. Water was in the low 50s. It was muddy, so it made it. I'm glad we weren't fishing a tournament there then, just because it would have fished so small. But you know, the whole key there was to get there, go there, have some fun. The exciting thing for me there, and this kind of gives me an idea of how good it's actually going to be there, because the reports are that they have a lot of 30-pound bags that come out of this place. And up until this time, I'd been to Sam Rayburn, Toledo Bend, and Santee Cooper, and the biggest bass I'd caught all year so far was like a 5-pounder. Well, my first day there, I catch 2 6.5-pounders. So I actually weighed them, put them on the scale. I caught one on a spinnerbait and one on a bladed jig. So that was really cool. The other neat thing about this place is absolutely beautiful place to run around. I mean, it looks like bass heaven. I mean, there's cypress trees. You can see it when we come back. There's going to be lily pads. I think there's some eel grass and stuff like that. So, and then some docks. So it's going to set up to be a really, really good fishery. You know, when I was there, mostly was just running around to see it, but it was pretty easy to pick out, find, you know, some dead end canals where there's some clear water, and you could catch some fish. I was even playing with my forward facing sonar some. I caught a double on a jerkbait. They weren't very big, but still to catch a double was really cool. And, you know, just like a lot of different fisheries, especially tidal water, there are other species as well. So got teased by a couple stripers as well. So, you know, when you're going somewhere just for the fun of it, just to catch some fish and have a lot of action, I can tell the Chowan River is definitely going to be a place to be, especially when we're there early summer, because that's when these type of places really shine out. So super excited to go back to this one because it's going to be a phenomenal fishery. It's a neat place. It's actually 2 rivers that come together there, the Chowan River, and I believe it's the Roanoke River. It's where they converge and then get into the bay there. So it's a huge, huge fishery, and it'll be a fun place for us too, because they're only allowing us to fish part of it. So on our off days, there's a lot of phenomenal fishing that we're going to be able to go do while we're down there as well. So, you know, between the numbers of fish there and the potential for big fish, be a lot of fish, a lot of fish on Score Tracker to do well in this one.
bait in the spring. A double. How about that? Gotta love some springtime fishing. Beauty right there. See what you weigh. £5. 5-pounder any day.
So I'm really looking forward to the Chowan River. It's going to be an early summer event, means the cold weather gear is going to be put away, and it's going to be a shallow water river fishing fest. So I know without a doubt there's so many good river fishermen in our league that you're going to have to be on your A game, because there's going to be a lot of fish lighting up score trackers. So looking forward to being right up there at the top with them.